Lisa with some springtime photos. These are photos of, they're in a sequence, my husband took them, of my mom and I her first setting up a spot for us and then unloading her birthday present, which was kind of a fairly large planter with some plants and flowers and things in there that I got her for her birthday. My husband was recovering from surgery at the time and he wasn't allowed to lift anything. So we did this work on our own, and so we're going to call this layout Girl Power, because you can see my mom is, she's hauling rocks here. I mean, she's incredibly strong, and it really wasn't that heavy, but the two of us managed it quite well. So he took all of our pictures and we're going to put that in a layout. And I've done a rough sketch of this. What I want are 2 pieces of designer paper, 1 on each corner, and then I want the series of photos to come down. I had a time figuring out quite what to do with them. Because I didn't really want to go over 1 page with this, and I thought they might be fun if I cut them in circles. Now I'm going to cut them in a little bit bigger circle than this, but I just laid this the smaller Creative Memories circle cutter out just to see what they would look like. So I'm going to be cutting almost 3-inch circles out of these, and then we're going to put them down diagonally down the page, and we'll probably stagger them a little bit coming down. And the bottom one, this one where we're standing back admiring what we've done, I'll put some a mat behind that. Now, I also needed to get some embellishment on here. I didn't want my photos to, of course I want them to be they're very important, they're the critical part of the page, but I also wanted to get some good embellishments because I have this stuff from My Mind's Eye. I bought a box of things last year, and this was one of the things that came in it, the Hello Gorgeous chipboard, and then the papers that I think work really well with this are Life is Beautiful, and these are from Fancy Pants, but all of this seems to coordinate really well. So this has the girl, and it says girly, but I think I'm going to cut the Y off and make it girl and do Girl Power. I really like this big flower arrangement, and I think that it would work here with us. Doing pages, we go to gardens and stuff a lot, and we do some pictures of flowers around the house. You really can't take pictures of flowers and then put flower embellishments with them. I just don't think that works that well for me. So, but I can use them here because while my top is printed and hers is, and we've got, you know, a little bit of flower in this, there's nothing there that's nearly the same scale as this item is. So I can put this on the page, I think, and not overpower the page and really complement the whole theme for it. And then there's a few other things on here. So we'll try the larger one. We'll see whether that works. As far as designer paper, I'm going to say these papers from Fancy Pants, also bought with a box. Here's some more Hello Gorgeous. Are good choices, and I'm looking towards, I'm not going to do the big floral papers. They're pretty. There's a smaller, well, I thought there was another floral paper in this bunch that was really pretty as well. I don't know what happened to it. Those, since I'm going to do the floral embellishments, I'm not going to do the floral paper, but what I'm thinking of doing for the papers are these two. This pink, because I have this bright pink dress, this pink striped paper, because it's perfect for cutting a diagonal out of this, coming down here, and then continuing on with that diagonal theme using this checked paper. Also a good match for this and for the embellishments that I want to use. So that's what I'm going to start with, and I'll need some kind of paper to use as a background because these photos need to lay on something. And I don't know if I'm going to use, I have this one solid from the collection, and this might work because the back of it is feathers, and I'm not a feather person. I don't see myself using that feather paper. So I think I might make it my background. It's not quite the perfect shade of green, but it's such a nice, soft, neutral green that I do believe it would look good with all of this. I don't know. I'm going to browse a little bit and see what else I have, but it'll probably be that for the background. I have my words out here. I'm going to do girl, and then some other letters to do power. Let's go ahead and trim these photos down. I'm using a little bit larger Creative Memories cutter, but I'm using the smallest blade, and so I got to play a little bit with the sizing there. And I should have called this the Murphy's Law layout because everything seemed to go wrong here. When I was cutting the first one, I didn't cut it completely. I had to use scissors so I don't have a perfectly round cut. Then I put washi tape to hold the photo down to make it easier to cut, and it ripped. And I remembered that when I had these photos printed, I ended up with some extras. I didn't remember requesting 2 copies of things, but I got 2 copies of almost everything. Guess which ones didn't print extra copies of? Yes, the ones that I messed up. So we've got a couple of little flaws there, and we're going to work on concealing those in a little while as we're arranging these photos. Right now I'm just trying to figure out the pink. Well, what I'm going to do is to cover one of them is to lay a photo on top of the other, and that will kind of cover up the bottom where it's irregular shape. And then I've got that little cut, and we'll deal with it in a moment. What I'm trying to figure out now is how much of the pink paper to cut, where I want to put my diagonals. So I started with 6 inches, and then I decided on about 8 inches for the diagonal. And I really just need to cut the pink paper on the bottom because I'm going to use that plaid on the top. I took this to the paper trimmer, and it was too big to trim on the paper trimmer, so I trimmed it with an X-Acto knife. Now I'm going to glue these down, and you'll see that I'm putting one photo kind of on top of the, when my head gets out of the way, on top of the very bottom of that one photo that I got a little bit irregularly shaped. And I end up with these slightly out of order, and I fix that later. I think I end up fixing it off camera, but if you're noticing that they're out of order, they're going to get straightened back out here in a few moments. Now we're going to cut the Y off of girly using Stampin' Up's Craft and Rubber scissors. And then what I'm going to do is put these letters so that they cover up the place where I tore that one photo, or cover up most of it. And I'm moving them about. Well, I tried to move it about, but then when I tried to pick up the IRL, it started ripping the paper. So then I had to put the G back, and I ended up having to add some extra glue to this. As I say, this layout just did not go smoothly. And you may have noticed that the video is not stretched all the way to the edge. When I downloaded the video, it was a different format than it normally is. I don't know what happened. I got to check and make sure I'm not going to record my next thing wrong. So I didn't know I changed anything about my camera, but apparently I did. Alright, so we've got our big die cut there, or chipboard piece there, and that looks really pretty. And we'll put our letters on, and I'll use some Tombow adhesive to help to do those and get them just right. I lost the I in girl. When I popped it out of the chipboard, it just flew across the room, and I don't know where it went. So I'm going to use a little piece out of the middle of power, like the middle of the O, to make my dot in my I. And I decided to use those banner pieces out of the chipboard. I hadn't thought of that to begin with, but I really like it. I did also found a sticker that I like to use under power, even though I've already glued those letters down. So I'm kind of trying to ease those up and get this sticker from another basic grade collection that has to do with growing things. Taking a couple of pieces of paper from the Fancy Pants collection coordinated with this, and doing some banner pieces for the top. And I've matted the photo of us at the bottom with a little bit of cardstock there. I think that's Strawberry Slush from Stampin' Up. And when I get all of these placed right, then I'll trim the top off of the pieces that I hand cut. They're a little long. And then I really just need my journaling. Oh, I thought I'd add a few brads. So I'm marking and punching out some brads because I had put one in the top, and one of those pieces of banner chipboard had a hole that needed a brad. So I'm just using some solid color brads from an old My Mind's Eye collection. And the various colors that go with this layout. And those just add a little bit more embellishment touch to the page. Well, so after a lot of challenges, we have our page done, and I just love it. I love the colors and how the arrangement came out, and I really like this banner at the top that I had no idea I would do when it first started. So we got our 6 photos, and I do have just a little bit showing there. I could try a little bit of brown ink to cover that. I'm going to start with something really light to see if I can kind of fill that in. That may be too light. A little bit darker. That's not bad. Might do better with colored pencils. Yeah, now it's starting to show, so anyway, might better leave that alone. But anyway, that tour, sometimes when this happens, I try to remember to reprint a photo and then just put a new one over the top. I usually don't remember to do that. And you look back in your album later and you don't even notice it. So not a big deal unless you tear somebody's face or off the photo or something like that that you'd really have to redo it. But I really liked how the large embellishment here came out, because that's kind of a tough one to use to work into a page and not be a big focal point of the page. We've got our photo here framed here a bit, just typed in, put the journaling in, and a few brads to finish it off. So I had to use some fun paper and a cute title for this page with some consecutive photos, or photos in a sequence. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed the layout. And if you are watching this prior to National Scrapbooking Day and the first weekend in May, I hope you will join me. I am doing a challenge on that scrapbooking weekend, and there'll be more details coming along on my blog, Twitter, Google+, however you follow me. You can find out more information about the challenge, or just check back here on Sunday, May the 7th, and check in for the challenge. Thanks.